Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. I must apologize. I'm a little late this morning, but I'm here. I'm here. Had to come see you guys today. A Better You Lifestyle. And I'm your host, Willie A. Price. Willie A. Price Speaks. And I want to answer you. I'm trying to get my music to calm down here. Trying something new today. Again, my name is Willie A. Price. Willie A. Price Speaks. A Better You Lifestyle. I apologize. I just came from speaking at a Black History event, so I'm just getting to the desk and getting to the office. But A Better You Lifestyle, every Sunday night at 8 o'clock p.m., we either do a live show or we do a pre-recorded show, but we do a show. First week of every month, Understanding Your You. Second week is A Mother's Love. Our third week is Financially You, where we are tonight. And then our fourth week is Making Your House Your Home. And this program is all about helping you to create a better you lifestyle for yourself and those people who are involved with you and your family. Physical, personal, and financial development. That's what we're all about. Tonight, we're talking about the financial, the personal development for you and how you can work to create multiple streams of income for yourself and how that works and what it means to have multiple streams of income. And it's really funny. I want to share a story with you guys. I'm on a lot of shows. The last couple of days, I've been invited to be a guest or a speaker or a moderator on various shows the last couple of weeks. And I was invited to a show the other night, and it was a relationship show. And during the relationship show, we were talking about different relationships, men and women relationships, and dating, and how you date, and why you date, and what you're looking to date, and what you're looking for in a partner. If you're looking to get married or don't want to ever be married again. I mean, it was so many different things that we talked about. And one of the things I said when we were talking about dating, and I said for myself, one of the things I don't do, and is one of my rules, and it's very rare that I break it, is that I do not do first date dinner dates. And you should have heard the gasp in the room from the women. What do you mean you don't do first date dinner dates? And I said, I don't do first date dinner dates. And they just could not understand it. And some people kind of understood it. But then the first thing that you heard people say, you must be cheap. You must be cheap. Then the next thing was, you can't afford it. Or maybe you should go to a lower price restaurant because you can't afford to take that person to a where dinner. And I just listened because, again, I said what I said and I meant what I said. And that is a rule that I normally go by. It's very rare that I do dinner on the first date. Very, very rare. And so they were asking me, so why don't you do dinner on a first date? First date dinner dates. And one of my answers, and I'm just giving you one of my answers, and it was because it's hard to get to know someone while they're putting food in their mouth. It's very difficult to get to know a person over dinner, especially on the first date. It has nothing to do with cost. It has nothing to do with can't afford it. It has nothing to do with the type of restaurant. It has nothing to do with any of that. It has to do with being able to have a conversation with a person and not feel like you're going to make them feel awkward because you don't want them talking with food, with food in their mouth, or you don't want to be talking with food in your mouth. So that is the one answer I'll give you, and I have a couple other reasons why, and I don't want to go into that much. But the thing was, a lot of times when I'm watching or reading social media, I get up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm reading articles and relationship and financial. I'm reading stuff all over social media, learn and enhance my education and knowledge. And I started reading about relationships and dating again. So it just happened to start popping up on my page, and I'm reading this stuff. And so I decided to post on my page the point. I said, the gasps that occurred when I stated that I don't do first date dinner dates in this group. And when I say that post had some of the most responses for me in 2023, I've gotten more responses than some other previous times, but that was for some craziness that I was probably posting at the time. But that post, as of 2023, this year, going forward, that has been probably the most or the highest rated post that I have had so far this year. And we're only on the 15th of this year. And happy Founders Day to my AKA sisters, January 15th, 1908. So happy Founders Day. But the responses that I got, a lot of them were from women. But then I had one woman that said to me, well, maybe you shouldn't go on dates until you're able to afford to take a woman on a date. Again, like I said, it has nothing to do with me being able to afford to take women on a date. I gave the one reason, which I didn't give on this post. Actually, I did give the reason later. But initially, I just posted the statement because I knew it was going to bring some responses and some reason that I don't do first date dinner dates. And people were all over the place with it. Even some guys even attacked me about it. But the one that really got me was this woman. Well, maybe you shouldn't date until you're able to afford to be able to take a woman out on a date to a nice restaurant or whatever the case may be. And I just laughed because it shows, people who know me will realize that person who made that statement doesn't know me, doesn't know a thing about me other than my name, and that I go by Willie A. Price Speaks, and those kind of things, and I'm a speaker, or they may not even know I'm a speaker. They don't know, that I'm author. They don't know much of anything about me for them to make a statement like that. And so it made me think about a lot of times, you want to get out and you want to disprove, because I could have came back and said, you don't know me, and because you don't know me, I can afford to take people out to dinner. I can afford a 5-star restaurant, afford, whatever. But then I thought about it. Why do I need to prove myself to anybody? And that's what we find, is that when we start to generate wealth, and I don't talk about getting rich. I never talk about getting rich. I don't care about rich people. Rich people don't do nothing. I tell people in my workshops and trainings, being rich is the last thing I want you to be. And if you're joining my workshops and trainings and programs to get rich, then I don't want you here. Generational wealth and creating wealth is what I want. I want people who want to be wealthy. Well, wealthy means creating multiple streams of income. That can be real estate. That could be stocks and bonds. That can be working. That could be having a business. Different things. Spending, inventing something. It could be a number of different things. But multiple streams of income, creating wealth for yourself. That's what it's all about. And so, like I said, when this person came at me with that, maybe you can't afford, the first thing a person would want to do is defend themselves. Oh, I can afford that. But you know what? Why do I need to prove that to anybody? I'm still not changing my rule. I don't do first date dinner dates. So it made no sense for me to trying to prove myself to this person that, oh yeah, I can afford that, or I can do that. It doesn't matter. But the thing is, a lot of us do that. A lot of us, we wear our wealth. You know, we get the Gucci and Louis bags and the Louis shoes and not Louis shoes, the Chris Louboutin shoes, and we get all these things with names, and it's to show, look what I have, look what I can afford, look what the wealth. And I know some people that are wealthy, or they might consider themselves rich. I don't know what I consider, because I don't know their situation. I say wealthy. I call everybody wealthy if they have some money until they prove me otherwise. But I know some people that are very wealthy and they have Rolex watches and Lamborghinis and all kind of nice cars and nice houses and all kind of stuff. And that's great. That's great if that's what you want. And some people, because and a lot of times you have people getting those things, especially when they go overboard with all the elaborate and elegant things. A lot of times they're doing that when you've grown up not having and not being able to get. The first thing you do is to do something is you try to go out and you get a lot of those things that you've always wanted. And then you don't want your children to ever want. You don't want your children to ever get talked about having, cheap sneakers or cheap outfits or whatever thing is. Because remember, as children, some of us grew up where we weren't able to get in the highest price sneakers or, a new pair of pants, a couple of outfits to go to school. Some of us had to make do with what we had. So as we got older and we maybe created some wealth, or we started to get money, we started to do things like want to show that, hey, I moved on up, like the Jeffersons. I'm moving on up. So we've gotten this additional source of income. And so now, if you remember the song, I think it was Biggie that wrote the song, more money, more problems. More money, more problems. The more money, the more problems you can have, especially if you're taking that money, whether it's from multiple streams of income or whether you hit the lottery or whatever means of income you have, or just a job, when you're taking that money and you're not applying it to create something that's going to generate continuous wealth for you. And so that's what we're talking about. Multiple streams of income, multiple streams of wealth. And let's start out with just savings. Who said, I talk in my program, one of the first things I start out with my young people and anybody taking any of my trainings, Think and Grow Wealth is the workshop that I'm taught right now. Think and Grow Wealth. The first thing we talk about is, what is your income? What is your source of income, and how much do you save? How much do you save? Not how much are your bills and what's your car note and how much is your student loan. I don't care about all that in the beginning. How much do you make? How much do you save? Right off the top, half the people say, well, I don't make enough to save. You ever hear people say that? Well, right now I want to save, but I really don't have enough where I can save like I want to. But then let that best friend or that girlfriend or that homeboy or whatever say, yo, concert coming. Go to the club. I bet I'm down. They can afford to do that. So we can do what we want to do. My grandmother used to say, you can do anything you set your mind to do. So with that being said, if I say to you, the first thing we're going to do in this workshop, in this Think and Grow Wealth program, is we're going to look at how much you make and how much you save. There's no excuses, because you can do whatever you set your mind to do. And if you take in my program, that means you plan to do whatever it takes to be able to think and grow wealth for yourself and your family. How much can you save? And people say, well, I don't know. Okay, I do want to save. How much should I save? That could be any number. But what I tell people all the time, I always say to them, I said, do you know of any broke churches? And most of the time, they're going to say no. And I say to them, how much does the church ask you? And we don't know because they don't go to church. But, I grew up in the church, so I kind of know the answer. So I said, how much does the church normally ask you? 10%. 10% is what a church asks you to give them. And you don't see, very rarely do, and only why a church might be broke is because they're mismanaging the money. So that has nothing to do with you giving your 10%. That means they're mismanaging and not doing what they're supposed to do with the money. That's how a church becomes broke. But 10% of what the church asks you to do in your tithes. Give 10% of what you make. And what do they ask you? Do they say, give me 10% after you paid all your bills? Hell no. Hell no. They don't want 10% after you don't paid your bills, because then they know by the time you pay all your bills, you may not be able to give 10%, 5%, 1%. They say, give us 10% of your first. As soon as you cash that check, as soon as that direct deposit goes into your account, we want 10% of that. And people run and do it. People go, I got to pay my tithe, get my envelope, get my name on the board. Pastor gonna love me because I'm gonna get that 10%. But you can get a church 10%, but why can't you pay yourself? Why can't you give yourself 10%? And I'm not saying don't give the church 10%, but give yourself 10% first. That's how much you should start out saving. Start out saving every time you get a penny, a nickel, a dime, a quarter, a dollar, $100, 10%. Start to create a habit of saving. And that's outside of whatever money you have maybe set aside to put in like a savings account. This is your 10% that you're going to put that's your tithes to yourself. That emergency fund, that investment fund, that's going to be that 10%. 10% is what you're going to start out with. And you're going to start teaching your children how to save 10%, because it's going to become a family affair, a family activity. And when you do that, what does it do? It creates a family activity where everybody grows together, learning financial literacy together. 10%. And from that 10%, you're going to save. And then sometimes you may put more than 10. You may get a little extra money. You put a little extra. You might say, hey, I got a little extra. Start put it in there. You constantly build. When I tell my young people, I normally say January, and then maybe what I normally do is have them get a shoebox, and we tape up the shoebox and we cut a slit in it. And then they put the money in that shoebox, and then they put that shoebox under the bed or in the closet. And the reason why, and people say, why do you put it under the bed or in the closet? Because out of sight, out of mind. Out of sight, out of mind. When they take that shoebox and they put it somewhere where they don't see it, they're not constantly thinking about it and wondering how much money is in there and what they can go buy with the money that's in there. And so they only pull it out when they're going to put some money into it. And of course, they're going to shake it up periodically, but that's okay. As long as they don't open it up and do it. So what I normally say to them is try to wait a whole year until Christmas. But sometimes I say also, depending on what the situation is, maybe you open it up in the summer because you have plans that you want to do something over the summer. And now you open that box up and you see how much is in there that you can utilize to do something over the summer. And then you seal that box back up and continue to save and get ready for Christmas. Do you know how much pride in a young person when they get the fact and the feeling that they can actually contribute or buy Christmas gifts for their brothers and sisters and their parents, that they can help buy their own school clothes. They can help get sneakers or whatever the case they want to do because they have their own money that they save. Same with you. That pride that you should have, knowing saved up, going into New Year, you open up that shoebox and see how much is in there, and you're able to take your family on a vacation, or you're able to pay off a bill that you pay off to never opportunity. So now you pay that bill off, and now you've eliminated that bill. So what are you going to do with the funds that you normally use to pay that bill? You're going to add that into your box every month. So whereas you've been paying that 10% every month and it allowed you to be able to pay off that bill, you're going to take now that bill that you paid off, and whatever that bill you were paying every month, you're not going to go spend it and get another bill. You're going to take that money. So if you were paying $50 or $100 a month on that bill, or $1,000, whatever the amount was, you're going to take that amount. You're going to still pay your 10, and you're going to put that amount from that bill into the box. You're not going to put 10% of that bill amount into the box. Definitely not 10%. Even if you do half into the box, use the other half to pay off or pay down another bill. You could do that. But you're still that saving, you're paying off bills, you're getting out of debt. And what happens is, as you start to eliminate debt, some of you people aren't going to be happy, and I get a lot of flack for this. As you start to eliminate debt, your credit score might go down. I know I probably got some people just jump right off a line right now when I said that. Your credit score might go down. And the reason why your credit score might go down is because now you don't have the accumulation of debt that they look at to raise you up to that 7, 8. And people think, I got to have an 800 credit score. And they brag, I got an 800 credit score. I got a score. Mine only 650, but I'm trying to get up to 7. The only way, and I asked people, I said, so how do you get your credit score up? The only way to get your credit score up is to get in debt. The only way to get your credit score up is to get into more debt. That never made any sense to me. I want to get my score up. I want my score to be 700, 800, 850, 825, 810, whatever, 750. But in order for me to do that, I got to get another credit card, and I got to buy some things, and then I got to go pay it off, and I'm not going to pay it off. I'm going to make some payments on it because I'm already in the hole, and I am paying the minimum amount on a lot of these credit cards because I don't have enough money saved up to pay them off because I'm trying to get to this 750, 800, 850 credit score. That doesn't make sense to me. That has never made sense to me. So when people say and do that, it really kind of throws me off. Like I said, I know people will jump off of here and be like, oh, hell, I don't want to hear this. Think about it. Think about it. If you paid off all of your debt, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to take all your debt and you're going to put one category and put the amount that you pay every month, and you're going to put the total amount due for that debt, what the balance of that debt is. Total those two amounts up, how much you pay monthly, total how much is the entire debt. Then source of income, the amount of income you make. So what the total income is. Then just imagine if you paid off half of that debt that you owe, and look at how much income is going to you versus to your creditors. Imagine if you paid off 3/4 of that debt. How much after that 3/4 is paid off and you're only paying 1/4? How much of your source of income is coming to you? Imagine if you paid off almost all your debt and you have no revolving debt, only just your your rent or your even your mortgage you can pay off. Because as you pay off all the things, you can apply mortgage, and instead of paying off a 30-year mortgage or a 15-year mortgage, you're paying it off in 15 years or maybe even 10 years or 5 years, depending on when you start to pay it off. So now you've eliminated the mortgage. Now your house is free and clear. All you have to pay is your taxes, garbage, water bills, those kind of things. But now it eliminated you have that mortgage. You paid off that car. Now that would be paying for your car note. You're using that to again apply towards other bills that you can eliminate those bills. So imagine you paid off all those bills. Say you're making $5,000 a month, just to keep a nice round figure. $5,000 a month. And now you've eliminated where you were paying maybe $4,000 a month with bills, utilities, car notes, credit cards, everything else. And now, like I said, you've gotten that down to where you're paying, now you're only paying 1/4 of that. So imagine now you're only paying $1,000 a month instead of $4,000. So now you're saving, you have $4,000 every month that you can apply and save, pay off additional Herb and pay that last 1,000, get that 1,000 under 1,000. All those things you can do. So imagine that. That's $4,000 a month. That is, okay, $4,000 a month times 12. That is $48,000 1 year. $48,000 in 1 year. Why would you need a credit card? Why would you need a car note? $48,000, you could pay off the house in 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years. Just imagine. Think and grow wealth. Think and grow wealth. My credit score, and I always laugh and I talk about this a lot because I get such a kick out of it, and I'm still mad at them because they won't put it back where I want my credit score to be. Right now, my credit score is an 8, not 800, but the number 8, 08, the number 8. My score was 0 for almost 15 years. My credit score was 0 for almost 15 years. And people say, oh, there's no way in the world. How could your credit be 0? But then also, you got to remember, I just told you my score was 8. How could my score be 8? Because when you have 0, that means you don't have any debt. You don't owe anybody. Which means that when you get your sources of income or multiple sources of income or your job income or whatever the case may be, everything other than your cell phone and regular bills that you pay, that's not something that you can pay off and that creditors don't look at. So now all those things, once I pay those things, everything that I would make, any sources of income, any multiple streams of income, will go directly to me. Will go directly to me. So just imagine, like I said to you, you get that 4,000 down to 1,000. That's $3 additional $1,000 that you get to add to your source of income, to your income for you to start a business, buy real estate, do so many things you can do. $48,000 in just 1 year. Teaching people how to do those things. That's what I do. Show people how to do that. Because I can teach you and I can show you how to save $10,000 a year. They look at me like I'm crazy. $10,000 a year. Yeah. I can show you how to save $10,000 a year. Actually, I make 5,000. I asked them, "What's your goal? What you like to say?" Well, I want to save at least like $5,000. Then I look at the source of income, and I look at their expenses, and then I'll come back and say, "I can help you to save $10,000 a year easily. 10 a year, $15,000 a year, $20,000 a year, depending on what your and what your sources of income. I can teach you how to do those things, and people don't understand it. From that savings, and I just mentioned multiple streams, teaching them how to buy real estate, how to start a business, how to save. That's 3 sources of income right there. So depending on the number of things you want to do, multiple real estates. So now you got multiple sources of income coming from real estate. There's so many things you could do, multiple businesses. So now you have multiple businesses that you want to operate, and you're bringing that source of income and you compound that, and that all is applied. And so these are all things that you can do to create wealth for yourself. Think and grow wealth, not get rich, or Think and Grow Rich, which is what Napoleon Hill's book was. And at the time when they said Think and Grow Rich, because people are attracted to the word rich. When you hear rich, a lot of people, some people think of get rich quick, but they're saying when you say rich, it automatically is attract people because that is the status that people want to achieve, is being rich. If I say to people, "Oh, I can help you be wealthy," half of them look at me like I'm crazy. What do you mean wealthy? I don't want to be wealthy. I want to be rich. And so when they say that and they're not open-minded to what I have to offer, because I told you I don't want to help anybody be rich, I leave them alone. Think and grow wealth. Starts with saving. Starts with investing, real estate, business, stock market. There's so many things you can do to date yourself. Multiple streams of income. But it all starts with what? Saving, paying off the debt. So I brought that around into this conversation because, like I said, I talked about the story about the person saying maybe I would it, but like I said, my credit score is an 8, and I'm trying to get my 0 back. So when a person says, "Oh, you can't afford it, maybe you should wait to go out until you can afford to go out to dinner," that's not a issue for me, because again, it's not something where it's going to build up credit to me. It's not a charge where I got to constantly pay on it. So if I want to go to dinner, I go to dinner. I don't do first day dinner dates. So as a result of that, I guess I won't be doing dinner, or at least not on the first date. And I have been out to a lot of dinners with a lot of different people, some women, some guys, breakfast. But I'm a breakfast person, so that's me. I enjoy breakfast. But the thing is, it's all about understanding who you are, where you're trying to go, what's it going to take for you to get there, and why are you willing to commit to it. Your 4 W's. Your 4 W's are going to be different from my 4 W's, but it's all about being successful. And that's what you want to do. Create a better you lifestyle for yourself. Think and grow wealth. And no dream will ever be impossible if you do that. You guys have a blessed day. That person's question. Okay, I won't be doing dinner dates. Anyhow, you have a blessed day. Have a great week, and I will see you next week. Making your house your home, where we're going to talk about how to make your home. I don't know, because we just did a bunch of stuff with weatherization. I think I'm going to talk about, since it's a new year, first-time home buyers. Some of the ideas I have for first-time home buyers, and where I think you should be going with that if you're a first-time home buyer. And also what I want to talk about, which I just thought about, the importance of getting a home inspection not just getting a home inspection, but getting a home inspection by a qualified, competent home inspector. How about that? So that's what we'll talk about next week. First-time home buyers and the importance of getting a home inspection done by a competent, professional, well-trained home inspector. That's next week. You guys have a blessed week. I will see you next Sunday, 8 o'clock. Better You Lifestyle. It was financially you. Next week is making your house your home. See you guys next week. Have a